That's right, aka Mama Friendly. I do vlogs, hauls, homeschool videos, planner videos, and cook with me's. If any of these sound like fun to you, I'd love for you to subscribe and join my little YouTube family. Today's video is a collaboration video. It's hosted by Life with Valerie Rose and What My Kids Won't Eat. And it's a collaboration where everybody is creating copycat recipes. I'm gonna post a link to both of the hosts' channels in my description box, along with a link to the playlist, so that after you've watched my video, you can go check out what everybody else is making. Now, copycat recipes, I usually think of like restaurants, wanting to recreate your favorite restaurant meal at home. But my mind is always on theme parks. I love Disney World, I love Legoland, I love Universal. Every chance we get, we're there. And as you can imagine, because of everything going on in the world today, it's been a while since we've been back. So I've always got theme parks on the brain. And so when I heard copycat recipes, I thought, I need to make some theme park food. So something that you might not know about my family though is that my son and I specifically are gluten and dairy free, and we don't cheat around that. Like, it just is what it is. So any recipe that I would try to copy, I would have to try to make sure that I could alter to fit those parameters or those restrictions. So I got to researching, I got to looking around, and I actually found a theme park food that is naturally gluten and dairy free as is. The Granny's apple fries at Legoland. Now, if you've ever been to Legoland, the moment you get through the entrance and you find all the rides, on the right side, you're gonna find this little food stand, and all they sell there are these Granny's apple fries. You can get them either plain, which means with cinnamon sugar, or you can get them a la mode. You can get them with a side of whipped cream and covered in caramel sauce. Yum, 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 yum. They are absolutely delicious. And of course, I looked up the recipe, which I'll post the recipe in the description box as well, the link to it. But it was super, super easy, and of course, naturally gluten-free. It's also naturally dairy-free. You just have to omit the caramel sauce, although I did find a dairy-free whipped cream. As a matter of fact, if you know of a good dairy-free caramel sauce, let me know your suggestions in the comments. With all that being said, I'm really looking forward to sharing this recipe with you guys. So let me show you this super, super simple treat that you can make at home. So our ingredients are super simple for this recipe. You just need some oil for frying. The recipe calls for a quart of canola oil, but I'm gonna use coconut. It says 1 Granny Smith apple, but I did 3 and I don't think it was nearly enough. Half a cup of cornstarch and half an ounce of cinnamon sugar, but I'm just gonna blend up my own. Now, when you order these at Legoland, you can get them with just the cinnamon sugar, or you can get them with whipped cream, caramel, or even a la mode. So this is what I'm working with today. As far as our hardware, I got this fruit corer peeler thing because I'm extra, and I'm going to be using my handy dandy cast iron to fry in. So this machine, I bought it because I wanted to use it to core and peel my apples. I didn't realize that it would also cut them or slice them up. So they ended up being little circular chips almost instead of fries. I figure let's work with what we've got. So I'm going to be doing some of them in this shape, and I'm going to be doing some others cut in your traditional fry shape, which is how they sell them at Legoland. Now make sure if you're going to do the cuts with the fry shape that you cut them all somewhat evenly, because you want them all to cook evenly, and you don't want ones that are bigger than others and then ending up not thoroughly cooked through. As I mentioned, the recipe calls for a quart of canola oil to fry in, but I'm just kind of putting globs of coconut oil in here until it makes sense to me. About as much as I think I'm gonna need to deep fry. They want you to use a deep heavy pot, or I guess in my case a cast iron skillet, and heat the oil to 350. In the meantime, I'm placing all of my apple fries and pieces into a mixing bowl, and I'm going to add my half cup of cornstarch and toss gently to fully coat the fries, ensuring an even layer covers each fry. Now keep in mind, I did say I'm using 3 apples instead of the 1 that the recipe calls for. I think that this was entirely too much cornstarch. For half a cup of cornstarch, which is what the recipe says you should use, I could have easily had 5 or 6 apples in here. So do with that information what you will. If you're just gonna do the 1 apple, I would use a lot less cornstarch. Or if you wanna follow the half cup requirement or recommendation, maybe half a dozen apples is more your speed. So while we're waiting for our oil to get up to frying temperature, I'm going to go ahead and mix up my cinnamon sugar. So I've got just regular cane sugar here, regular powdered cinnamon, and I couldn't tell you the measurements. Like I like to say, I measure with my heart and I let my ancestors tell me when enough is enough. So I'm just mixing all of this together and then I'm going to set it aside so that we can dust it on our prepared apple fries. My oil presumably got to 350 degrees. I just dunked a little piece of apple in to see if it would react or not, and I thought, aha, it's ready. So I'm putting some of the apples in. I didn't want to crowd them, so I'm doing it in batches. It says to allow them to cook for 30 seconds and gently agitate them to ensure an even cook and so that they don't stick to the bottom of the pan. And then you can flip them and finish cooking for an additional 2 minutes. I ended up cooking this first batch for about 5 minutes total. The subsequent batches cooked a lot faster than that. Once they're finished cooking, which to me means they've got a little bit of a crisp on the outside and taken on a little bit of color, you should shake off the excess oil and put them on a paper towel to drain. The recipe doesn't say to do this, but I didn't want them to be overly oily when I put them into the cinnamon sugar. Once they've drained a little bit, you can immediately dust them with the cinnamon sugar until they're fully coated, and you can eat them fresh just like this, or like I said, whipped cream, caramel, ice cream. The world is your oyster. You can choose to serve them any way you wish. Any way you do it, it's going to be delicious. So as you can see, I'm just continuing to cook all of my apples in batches. We have both shapes going, both the slices and the fries. I didn't find there to be a preference really one way or the other. They both had great flavor. They both had great texture. So do whatever shape is easiest for you to accomplish, I guess. And for the pièce de résistance, I'm sure I said that wrong, I'm channeling my inner granny a la Granny's apple fries and making a nice little presentation here for my mom so she feels like she's back at one of our favorite parks. So we've got our fries slash sliced apples here with our cinnamon sugar, our whipped topping, some salted caramel on top, and I'm so excited to share this with her and see what she thinks. Does it feel like you're at Legoland again?
Wow. What? Can I eat this whole thing?
That's all for you.
Just a limon.
No, it's just apples with cinnamon sugar, and then you have salted caramel and oat milk based whipped cream.
Tastes kind of lemony.
It's Granny Smith apples.
Wow.
So they're sour apples so that it kind of like balances out the cinnamon sugar.
Wow.
Success.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it, folks. Easy as pie. Well, easier than pie actually. And they were so delicious. It was just like being back at Legoland. This feels just completely foolproof. You really can't go wrong with this. And as I mentioned earlier in the video, they also serve them a la mode, so you can use vanilla ice cream or even like a caramel, like a dulce de leche ice cream to serve alongside these would be fantastic if your family is not dairy free. Is it healthy per se? Not quite, but it's theme park food. What are you asking for here? I thought that this was a lot of fun and it was a nice way to bring the theme parks home to us. So I'm really looking forward to making these again. And who knows, maybe we might have another Copycat collab coming up again soon and I might think of another theme park food to share with you guys. Remember to check out the playlist in my description box to see what all of my YouTube friends are making for their Copycat collabs. And I want to thank Life is Valerie Rose and What My Kids Won't Eat once again for hosting. This was a lot of fun. I want to thank you all so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I hope you'll please give it a big thumbs up. I'd also love it if you'd subscribe and click that notification bell because I post at least 3 times a week and I wouldn't want you to miss a minute. Thanks so much again for watching. Bye!